Welcome to the Iron Perspective podcast, our very first episode, and we have a very special one. So the idea is we have 4 different perspectives, and then a very special guest today is Mr. Alan Kelly, aka Method. We have Christian McAlinden here on the big comeback. He's coming from an incredibly good bodybuilder as a young man. He did the life thing, and now he's coming back. We have a great young bodybuilder here, Tom Jatuzis, on the way up. We have this man here, Thomas, and he is kind of in his prime. And then the perspective I have is that I am retiring in the next year because I have a sore elbow. So that's it. So we want to go through.
Made that sound so soft.
Yeah.
Like a little
Well, I'm sure everybody's absolutely sick of me complaining about my elbow. So I have arthritis. Feel sorry for me. No, but it's like the end of my journey. So we're all different perspectives. And then we have Alan today who's going to help to tell Christian's story, his comeback story. He's Christian's coach. And it's a super interesting one. So we're going to probably focus a good bit on that at the start here, Christian, if you don't mind.
Yeah, see.
So you want to get straight into that? We'll start talking about your story.
Yeah.
From being, super successful young bodybuilder and all that pressure of bodybuilding on top of you, and especially in a small country like Ireland, everybody knew who you were. You were, really excelling, and then just the pressures of that and kind of, the where left you were, the nearly dying part is a super interesting part that we all want to hear though.
Yeah, cool. So I suppose growing up as a kid, I was a super fat kid growing up, but I loved wrestling. Like, it was my thing. Love wrestling. I was just so attracted to Macho Man Randy Savage, the Hulk Hogan's, I loved that kind of big muscly guys, but obviously never really wanted to do anything about it. So as a kid, then I just got kind of picked on, teased for my weight, and it didn't help things. I don't know if it's because of that. I kind of always wanted everyone to like me. Like, I just really wanted everyone to like me. I wanted to be accepted. But I think that also just made me kind of become a bit of a clown, always seeking attention, and that became a habit. Yeah, like as in almost an addiction. I just wanted attention the whole time, whatnot, So it kind of went down a bad road with that, just constantly needing validation and attention, and I developed bad traits, as in characteristics, whatever you want to say, like with that. But life went on. I managed to lose some weight, and I kind of played rugby in schools and whatnot. But one thing, as I got older, rugby, obviously, big thing in rugby is strength and conditioning, So once I got into the gym, I was just like, wow, this is incredible. Yeah. I was like, I loved the gym. That almost became, without realizing it, I'm still playing rugby, without realizing it, I just loved the weights. Like, that's what I wanted to be doing the whole time. Any chance I got, I was going to the gym. You know what I mean? Any chance I got to finish school early and didn't have training for rugby, I was in the gym. Then I remember kind of being in Total Fitness, which was up in Sandyford back in the day, and I was seeing Brian Conway, and just blown away by the size of this man. Like, and there was a proper one. Yeah, it's so big. Like, then there was other guys floating around the gym at the time, like Aaron Cannon and stuff like that. competing. JD Mayberry, we're being way back,
We're showing your age now.
But yeah. So, like, kind of growing up and seeing these people, I was like, I want to look like that, So, but like, I was very delusional. So I was still at this stage, I kind of blown out my knee. And with rugby, like, I was not. It's like a big lad, but not like in any way had any muscle or anything like that, So it's kind of like, on the heavy side still as well, So anyway, I got my hands on some steroids, and I would have started taking. It didn't really matter. It was whatever I could get. So you could be running like test and EQ for like test and deca was like for a few weeks, maybe D-ball. Then I might get my hands on Tren. And then, literally, and there'd be no rhyme or reason to this.
The more the better.
2 shots this week, 3 shots the next week. I might remember to take the D-ball this day, didn't for 3 days, take it now, So it naturally looked awful. No diet, no nothing. So I thought it'd be a great idea, being the attention seeker I was, throw some pictures up online. Because that thing was Facebook, that was the thing people were doing. I was seeing bodybuilders were putting pictures up, and I was like, I'll do that. Got ripped apart. And I had really bad acne, which was then really like driven harder by the gear, right? So spots everywhere, all over my body. Face actually never got that bad. That came later, believe it or not. But we were really, really bad. and just didn't take that well at all. So I was like, fuck, I'm going to show them all,
Yeah.
So I found this ketogenic diet online, from this guy in the forums, Razor Ripped. And
One of them.
yeah, and in fairness, it was proper keto. It was it was a terrible diet though. It was like chicken a few times a day with either spinach or mushrooms, olive oil, and then like 2 whey shakes,
Wait,
peanut butter.
what was your weight when you started this diet?
I was 103.
And what were you with that?
78 in 6 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah, in 6
6
weeks.
weeks.
Yeah.
6 weeks. Yeah. Because what I do is I got a cross trainer at home, and I was just hammering the cross trainer. So I build from like 40 minutes
Obsession.
up to an hour to 2 hours, So I turned into I think I said some the Celtic cast, Christian Bale and the Machinist. I genuinely or you ever saw Christian Bale and the Fighter when he's going through rehab, super skinny. It was awful, so but I was like, I showed you all, but there was no muscle left, and I still had this little pot belly because I hadn't done this properly. So I was like, did the hard part, and then I went on and hired Dave Palumbo. Back when you could literally go on Dave's site, and hire him, knows nothing about you, no consult, just copy and paste the diet.
Email,
So
it was a huge 285 with email.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
it's
exactly.
still the same
Yeah.
one.
And then he told me you need to get every single species supplement.
Of
Done.
course, yeah.
Big tax bill as well, buying all that shit as well. Going around in my species fucking t-shirt and everything, thinking I was great. And at this stage I would have had blonde mohawk shaved, got my hands on Milano tan, super tanned, and just look ridiculous, and anyway, so I was like, I'm gonna do my first show and started doing the diet with Dave and whatnot. Decided when I was like 6 weeks out, I don't really want to do this diet thing anymore, Started getting out of the piss and stopped everything. Stopped competing. I was like, I'm not going to do the diet, whatever, or I'm not going to do this contest anyway. Then I turned 20. I was out in the piss the Thursday night. Woke up hungover on the Friday, and I'd already paid to do the show. So I was like, where are you there? Oh yeah, might as well do it. I was eating biscuit cake the night before. Not in shape. Really, bear in mind, I've lost any sort of shape I had, And he rocked up, and there was to do the juniors, Shane Cullen's first show as well.
Yeah.
Of
all time.
And Shane he hadn't really dieted hard, but he was Shane, he just had it. So I think he came second that day. Blessing's first show that day as well, but he did the first time where he didn't realize there was a juniors. And then a guy, Richard Jenke, who was insane. Richie was amazing. If you ever get pictures of this guy, incredible. He went on to do some classic bodybuilding stuff, really good bodybuilder. His sister Katarina used to be quite big in RBF as well, but he went on and did it. He won it. But you're looking at me like, oh God, let's try to find the picture. It was awful. And I was wearing, my girlfriend at the time, her swim trunks. Yeah, genuine. I didn't have any trunks. My tan was from Pennies.
Please tell me they had the string piece.
No, yeah, genuine. So, it was a real wake up call of, oh fuck, I've got this wrong. This is not like
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah, you really, because when I started this, guys, I genuinely thought once I go on steroids, I'm going to look like Jay Cutler or Ronnie Coleman.
Everybody.
I genuinely believe that was it. It was done. Yeah. I had no idea about nutrition, nothing. I just thought I would look like that from taking it, because that's what the TV shows made.
That's what the narrative.
Or watching Friday Night Lights and they all just started getting massive. Like, oh, because they're taking stuff, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, everyone fucking was pissing themselves. I remember Tony Freeman, X-Man.
Tony, he's
he was, you saw him laughing his head off as well. He was guest posing that day. And I was like, fuck, 4 people didn't laugh at me that day. Tommy Staunton, Brian Hickey, Vinnie Crane, and Carlos Sullivan. They were actually trying to help them stop, so Tommy actually came backstage and he wanted to have a word with me. He's like, because I had been speaking to him a little bit. I never met him though. And he kind of was like, well, you're a big lad. You need to learn how to diet. So he's like, look, I'm going to give you a message on Monday. Come back. At this time, this is when you used to do the pre-judging and then finals later. And I was like, okay. He's like, message you on Monday and I'll help you with kind of getting in shape and add a bit of muscle, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, cool. But in the meantime, I didn't know what to do for the break. So my girlfriend at the time, we went out to Liffey Valley because we was in the Helix, and I got a big thing of popcorn. I went to the cinema. I've just been told I need to fucking diet and learn how to. I go and do the fucking opposite. Yeah, so I look worse for the evening as well. So I know, yeah. And then in fairness,
they've come back though. In fairness,
yeah. Well,
after that dramatic event, come back.
I don't think I realized how bad it was, And then, anyway, so. That was that, and then Brian had also he's like, you need 20 weeks. You're gonna say, I'd say I'd met him before and he told me, I was like, don't want to hear it. And he was like, I told you. So, anyway, in fairness to Tom, he went and helped me on and got in somewhat decent off-season shape-ish, you know. And he then met him in Raw, sat down with him, he did a diet out for me, all pen and paper back then, you know.
Of course.
And the training style and everything like that. And then I was going to go over to someone who's working on still at the shop in Blanche, back and forth to him.
Yeah.
And then did that, and then up until about, then I started training with Brian. That caused things a bit over because Iron House opened, and I went and just did a session with Brian, and that's when our relationship really kicked off. We started training together. That caused a little bit of tension there, and then that was fine. But look, anyway, at this stage, I kind of started cheating on the diet. I was like, actually, I don't want to do this. Got my in the piss. You know, like started doing this all over again. So I'm not going to do this anymore. Like Tom Ted's wrecked as well, by the way.
Yeah,
Like,
I can imagine so.
so yeah, then he's just like, so I decided then close to the time, he's like, you know what, I've entered. And this time Blessing knew about the juniors. I knew he was going to go up against him. I knew I'd seen Conor McGee online and chatted briefly to him. Knew he was going to go up against Conor, and he was going to go up against some good bodybuilders this day. So I was like, you know, but I'm calling these people out left, right, and centre. So I'm going to fucking smoke. Yeah. Because about 9 or 8 weeks out, I started to see some abs come visible. I was like,
there we go. Yeah,
here we are now.
sorted out.
I'm the best. So I started calling my tongue and smoke them really, like, again, looking for attention, you know what I mean? A real prick. I think I like, even at that time, I even put like an entry into California. I was such a
Did you read that? That says enough there.
what does this say?
Desperate times.
I didn't even get a call back, so that should fucking tell you, like, or even a responsible thanks for it. They probably looked and go, dick. So anyway, yeah, so long story short, I rocked up, decided last minute to do the show. Tom was like, fuck off, don't want this one, you know. So the day of the show, I'm there panicking because I get my top off and I see Blessing, I see Conor, see the rest of the lads. I'm like, oh fuck, I've got it wrong again. And then I've missed the mark completely. Yeah, like a complete shock to me, like again in denial. So I'm ringing Brian, he's on his way down. I was like, come on, I need your help. Is there anything I do to fix it? He's like, no. He gets there and he's like, no, it's not what you do. He gave me a Lucozade. He was, have a sip of this, try and give it a cup, but no, there's nothing you do. So yeah, went out there, and yeah, it didn't go too well. I gave like fourth, and yeah, the standard wasn't great though. So like whatever. And anyway, long story short, Brian, I was like, Brian, I never want to look like that ever again. He's like, I'm gonna help you, but like, you do any of this shit ever again, we're done. Like, not to help you. So he took me off everything. We got ourselves completely right again. Then when we went back on, just ran like 500 milligram test, started building back up. And that's when my body actually did start to respond, and we actually started to see some growth and whatnot. At this stage, I kind of locked in fully. I really understood after training with Brian, being with him every day, really what I understood. And he was, around this time, he went on to win the overall at NABA a few months later, and I watched that. And I was like, oh shit, I really would love that. Like, that's, you know, I would love that feeling, you know, and to be up there. And I don't know if any of you ever went to the NABA not in Vicker Street, but in the Olympia, yeah. And it was just the crowd in the evening show was crazy. It was just, you know, it was just the atmosphere that day, you know, to see it happen and everything. So I was like, and I was just so locked in, and he had me under his wing. I was like, whatever you fucking say. I was so locked into it. So went and did that. That was cool. I then went over to America through a friend. I had the opportunity to go live with Lee Priest's ex-wife, Kathy LaFrancois, who was also an IFBB pro. She won Arnold Cossack back in the day and all that. So I was over in America living with her. I met a girl and I went down to Las Vegas. I was living in Vegas for a while as well. Then I was training in Gold's Gym Summerlin, which is around the corner, which was Jay Cutler's local one. I never saw him there, so I genuinely do think he trained there in the middle of the night. But he would have been, he would have been on the come down at that stage anyway. So, but anyway, so that was cool. I was kind of back and forth between El Monte, California, and Vegas, and really living the lifestyle and living and breathing it, you know. So yeah, the right people around me and whatnot. And when we were over there, we started prepping for what was going to be Orbif Nationals and NABA Nationals Juniors. But we got in shape fairly quickly, actually. So I ended up jumping into an NPC show, the Patriots Challenge in Las Vegas. I won the novice class that day. And then that pictures made its way back here. And then it was, I think we were like, oh, holy shit, this guy actually got in shape. Like, you know what I mean? Then we came home to the show, ended up getting fucking really bad food poisoning. And like it was still lean, but like it was touch and go, like it was very flat and whatnot. And Brian was a bit like, oh fuck no, I don't know if I should do this. My head was wrecked as well. I was like, if I fuck this up again on an Irish stage, people were gonna laugh at me again. So decided to pull it, and my head was gone, to be honest. So that was fine. We pulled back away. Went away, spent a bit more time in America. That relationship kind of fizzled out, but then kind of came home, prepped for the RBF Juniors again that year, following year, won that show. Then the day after, Brian was like, you're not doing the juniors again, because NABA was that same weekend. He was like, you're not doing juniors again. Into class 3 you go. We thought it was class 2, but I was actually class 3. Anyway, ended up having a very good battle with Neil Farrell, who was a very good bodybuilder, someone I looked up to a lot back then. So it was a really good class. There's some really good bodybuilders that day as well. There's a Jerry Maston, Jerry Thorpe, and there's a good class 3 there, and the class 2.
Sorry, Christian, just to stop you there. For people who don't understand, they'll be watching this podcast. What are you referring to when you're saying classes?
Yeah, sorry, classes. So the height classes. So you had 2 federations back in the day. You had NABA and RBF. RBF is kind of more similar to what we have now in NPC. It was done by weight. So you had over 90s, under 90s, under 85. No, it was under 80s, and then under 75s, under 70, and then NABA was done by height. So you had class 1, 2, 3, 4. We never had the numbers for 4, so 4 just went into 3. Or always, So that's what I meant by that. And then class 2, you had Shane Cullen, who had just won the overall the day before at RBF. Ian Byrne, then like Victor, who went to become an IFBB pro in class 1. He won the overall that day. But yeah, so pushed Neil really hard that day, which was great, and got a lot of confidence in that. But unfortunately, what happened to me then was I went from being this person who had his head down and head relatively screwed on, to be fair, at that time, just working, training, whatnot. I let it get to me. Because I almost felt like I proved everyone wrong finally. And that's kind of when it's spiraling and out of control again in terms of being a cocky prick. And I probably wasn't a very nice person then, because I actually feel like I became so spiteful from, like, you have a moment where you should just cherish. You did something you never thought you'd be able to do. Never mind what other people thought, But I actually let that the memories of the bad shit really gets me. I became spiteful from doing well. You know what I mean? So I just became nasty. You know what I mean? I didn't become a nice, I became not a particularly nice
kind of
person.
feeling that you're on top of these people now.
So
if I showed you fuckers.
Yeah, exactly. And I actually just don't know why,
now,
but that's insecurities.
Oh yeah,
very insecure. So again, all these childhood insecurities are coming out, looking for that attention. So now I'm back on Instagram. I hadn't been on Instagram, so I had keeping my head down. Now I'm on Instagram, blasting non-stop. I'm great. I'm fucking great. Blah, blah, blah. Year after, I'm coming to try win class 3, and challenge for the over or whatever. Like, I'm only fucking 24 at this stage.
But that's
pull it back,
You're obsessed there, right?
So at this stage, I owned a gym with Brian. We bought a gym together, and we're training together all the time. We're never not together, And look, he's somebody who's to this day remains a very good friend of mine, albeit I wasn't there for him when he needed me. But we were very good friends. But probably at that stage, probably 2 on top of each other. And we were training together, and his plan was to do, which was another federation we had, the WFF, which was affiliated to NABA, and they had started bringing out shows in WFF, and they ran it in Derry. They eventually combined the 2, but at the time it was a new federation. So he was planning on doing the WFF Worlds, because that was done by weights again, because it was extreme bodies, over 90, depending on your height, super bodies or athletic.
That's what we call them, wasn't it?
Yeah. So he was, Callum Von Munger used to be a pro for them. Yeah. So basically, long story short, he was prepping for that. That was November. I was going to do NABA end of September, maybe do the Worlds or do the Universe. And that was my goal. So last minute, Brian jumped into the NABA class, said he was going to do class 3, and I freaked. Because I thought that was mine. Like, I was like, no, and can you believe how naive you are? Like, isn't it? Imagine having that opinion. That's mine.
Yeah.
Anyone could have fucking showed
You
it.
never know who's on it.
Anyone could have showed up. I don't know who's down in Galway or Kerry or wherever. Like, I'm there talking like, it's mine. Get away from it. So I freak out. On the day of it, any of you remember back then, I had really spiky hair. So I snuck into class 2. I should never have been in class 2. I went and said, no, it's wrong. I should be class 2. They looked at me and didn't even measure me properly. I got into class 2. But karma got me because I didn't even win class 2. Damien Cornaz won class 2. And he won the overall RBF like 2 weeks later. So Damien won that. He beat me that day. I came second in class 2. Competed with Paul Morgan that day, and Ivanko, who owns Motivated Fitness, he was in class 2 with us as well. And Brian, yeah, he went on to win class 3. He beat Niall Kinsella, beat Shay came third that day. And yeah, but it was like that, and I knew I denied it to the ground, and like now I'm like very much a very honest person myself, but back then I was a liar, you know what I mean? I was denying. I was like, no, I should have been class 2, should have been, like, it took me a long time to admit what I did. I did that on purpose because I didn't want to lose to Brian. And how mental is that you don't want to lose to your fucking coach?
Yeah.
Like crazy. So anyway, went on to do the universe, which actually didn't do too bad for like placings there. Then I did the Worlds, came 5th at that in WFF. And I think I went on to win the WFF national show there in super bodies. So yeah, at that stage I was with my now wife Alex, and she was kind of saying to me, you have changed so much, like you were just so obsessed with yourself and whatnot. So she, like, I knew, like, to keep that relationship alive I need to rein it in a little bit. So went off, and and then we found out I was going to be a dad with our now eldest. So kind of actually reined it in a little bit, calmed down, whatnot, and went away, did an off season, and then decided with Brian, because after all that, I went away, kind of moved industry in terms of work. And not that we had a distance from each other or whatnot, but we just went on to do different things. Linked back up with Brian and decided to have a shot at doing the NABA, and we just weren't going to tell anyone. Didn't say a word. Came off social media, didn't say a word to anyone. Rocked up on the day and won the overall. Won class 3 and won the overall that day. And then so I kind of felt like I'd redeemed myself and whatnot, and took it in, but still at that time there was this kind of relief, and I fucking did it finally. I finally did what I fucking thought. People like, I kept saying I'm going to win an overall, blah blah blah, and I'm only like 26 of this, 25, 26 of this. I'm like, need like perspective, you know what I mean? Like, but I really didn't see it that way. So yeah, I went on to do that, and then went on to do the universe a few weeks later. I was just so flat, couldn't fill back out, really upset with how I did that day. So I wanted kind of redemption from that. So kind of decided, I was watching muscle contest, one of the first muscle contests down in Limerick. And decided with Brian after that, we were like 8.5 weeks out, gonna jump in and do the NABA Worlds. So I went on, did that, came second that day, lost to Paul Latham, who I was pissed off at the day on it, but he went on and won his two bros a few weeks later, won his pro card. So, like Vinny and Cormac was in our class that day as well. Like, yeah, Vinny was in our class, and so it was really good bodybuilders there. And like on the day as well, there's like Brian Ward was in class 2, your man Drew something or other from the UK, a good heavyweight bodybuilder. So it's good guys knocking around. But after that, I kind of spiraled out of control like never before, because all of a sudden, sober, because now I'm second
Because you're second
at a Mr. World. Because people back then, guys, we didn't have the opportunity we did now. The idea of becoming an IFBB pro was just no way, unachievable. You had RBF or NABA, and you stuck to one of them, and you did it that way, and whatever, you were trying to get pro status maybe through NABA or something, but like placing at these shows just didn't happen. But I really spiraled out of control, and with that became just the decision to taking drugs into my own hands. So I then started kind of increasing everything I was running. And started like, brought my tren up to like 700 milligrams a week. So my brain is fried. At this point, a lot of people are in my ear, because this is when I kind of really, I don't know, I kind of started pushing food and everything. I really started to blow up. I said, I had a really big response. My physique dramatically started to change, and I was a really lean 103. I got up to that 103 finally, but a very lean 103. So at this stage, everyone was in my ear that I need to move. And then, I wanted to go to Al, and I didn't do it because I thought it would hurt Brian. So like, no, can't do it. So I didn't. So I had a conversation with Kathy, and she had made a comeback, and Patrick Tor had prepped her. So, and like, she was very close with Patrick, when he brought Ronnie Rockall back, they went and stayed with Kathy for a few weeks pre the Vegas, the Olympia in Vegas. So she was super tight with Patrick. She got me a decent deal with him and whatnot. So I linked up with Patrick, and the protocols came over, and they were crazy. Really, they were absolutely nuts. Like nothing I'd run before.
Can I just run to the toilet?
So like the protocols were absolutely wild. And they're kind of broken out into like 8-week blocks. So like you week 1, week 8, we take like test suspension, pre-workout, all this crazy stuff. Like, Like I was running Pfizer GH and like
How fun was that?
I just want- yeah, you
the test
know,
was the test before-
horrible.
Yeah.
Oh, horrible. Never take that ever. Never.
How successful were you with every injection?
How was that successful?
Yeah.
They went in. I never got any fucking infections from them. They were painful as hell.
But I mean, the whole ritual of like trying to get it just to pass through the
Oh,
needle
mate,
and
like,
everything.
oh, listen, genuinely, like, I was so locked in and consumed by bodybuilding.
He didn't care.
I did not care. I would have done anything for bodybuilding at this stage. My whole world revolved around bodybuilding. Okay, I had a young son at the time, you know, and a relationship and whatnot. That all came secondary.
That's a scary, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Genuine.
So you look like now, that's scary.
Yes,
Fuck.
I know. Brian and I were talking about this yesterday. Like, genuinely, you know, in terms of my last kind of like run there, like, well, how different the mindset is, but
Yeah.
everything was built around the gym. I worked so I could afford to do bodybuilding. You know, my family, I just expected them to accept the way I needed to be for bodybuilding. You know, it
Did
was
that come
just
from like all the hype you were getting, or the incredible kind of rise you were on, or what was it? Like, do you think that drove that incredible, intense obsession?
in terms of like how it built over
Yeah,
time.
but
you know?
yeah, how did it really go from this is fucking everything I need?
Yes.
I
Yeah,
need
yeah,
this. Even
yeah.
when you have like your son, right? You're
Yeah.
looking back at it now.
Yeah, yeah.
Where do you think that comes from?
It's a good question. So I suppose the rise with it is you're constantly trying to get to this place where people see you as a certain way. Okay. You have this obsession with wanting to be good at something. And you finally feel like, you finally feel like you finally have old style. You finally feel like you found something you're good at.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you grab onto it.
But it's back to this needing validation and attention. So you found something you feel like you're finally good at.
And then you get a
And
fuckload of validation.
You're almost kind of going, everyone stop what you're doing right now and just look at me.
Yeah.
I've entered the room and just start looking at me. But what was crazy about this is, right, I constantly posting online because I want people licking my ass. I want people giving me all this attention, validation. If you saw me in real life, I don't know if it was all the trend I was taking or not, but I could not make eye contact with people if I didn't know them. And I'm a little bit like that to this day. And I think that's genuinely from that period of my life. I struggle, lads, to speak to anyone, even in our gym. I don't know them. There's times where someone like I could see them I see them nearly every day and I never spoke to them. And they eventually might come up and speak to me. I feel like, oh, thank God.
Yeah,
I wanted to say hello to you, but when my anxiety almost gets the worst from me when I get near you and I don't know what to do, so I don't look at you. You know, and that makes me almost, a lot of people genuinely now still think I'm very unapproachable or I'm a prick. Back then I was just a prick. I didn't give a fuck if I saw people in, and I didn't care back then, you know.
Is this the armor thing? Dorian Yates did the armor thing where you don't have your armor on?
Possibly a little bit, but I think also just I developed. I genuinely think the trend fucked me up. I really do, you know. And I think it's just something, the social anxiety I developed stuck with me. So even if you see me to this day in the gym, like a lot of people probably think I'm unapproachable, I'm just a dick. I'm not. I just genuinely have a really hard thing to try and,
Shuts you down.
unless I know someone, and he'll tell you, like, once you know me, I've been seeing my audios, like I speak forever, you know. Can't shut up. You mean never, but like if I don't, yeah, that's why he's doing red.
Just to be in the
Yeah, I'm listening. Yeah, so I genuinely could not, and I still to this day, and I believe it's from that period of time. I still really struggle to, when I get close to them, even if I see them every single day, as crazy as it, to make that eye contact to say hello.
You think it's directly from when you push the trembling up? Or?
That it was around that time it got so weird. I became what we're seeing with kids these days, where they live their life through the screen and they have no social skills. That's what I was becoming like. So yeah, at this stage, Brian, to answer, I suppose, that question, I was like, what drove it? It was that finally being where I wanted to be and being good at it, but that now wasn't enough.
Yeah.
I needed, so everything I did around bodybuilding. So
like a drug, that validation was a drug.
Yeah. So to bring it all,
know you wanted it.
so to bring it all back, yeah. So I had a family, I had a child, I had a little baby, but it didn't matter, you know, because bodybuilding came first. I worked to bodybuild, you know, so fun.
I'm sure you must see that so scary.
Crazy looking back now, right? So whatever Patrick told me to jump off the fucking mount or whatever, off the, you know, the building. I'll do it if it means, because he said to me, I sent him some shots and he was like, I hope you want to compete in the pro league. You absolutely can win your pro card and compete as a 2-1-2 bodybuilder. Once that was said to me, done. I am in, right?
That's dangerous friend.
Very much so, very much so. So, you know, I'm running very close to 8 IUs of Pfizer GH, and not taking any breaks from any sort of year for months before getting a match. No, not one request from him on blood work or anything like that. He never asked for anything. He just threw the drug cycles in 8-week blocks to me. and then was running high doses of Anadrol, like 150 milligrams a day. And I don't know if you remember the lab Chirurgeon. I was taking the Chirurgeon stuff, and we never actually knew how dose that was. We always thought it was super overdose.
Yeah.
So that could have been 300 milligrams, Anadrol. I don't know.
Did you ever get
Anyway,
bloods on yourself? Or?
No, never.
We have this.
I went when I was like, I think I was like 22, 23. Doctor gave me a bollock. He never went back.
Yeah, well, that's,
I never got
that's
bloods.
the shit we have over here. Like,
I never got bloods. If
you
Brian
get
told
interrogation, why do you want bloods? Why do you need blood?
every time, and then like towards the end of time with Brian, like after the Worlds, he's gonna come off now, and he's like, come off everything, and you'll be absolutely grand. Went on a family holiday, stayed on TRT of 250 a week for 2 weeks. Went back on, lied to him. So
2 week.
I just look like this because I look like this, lying to him, completely lying to him. And yeah, I just kept pushing, 1,000 milligrams of test, 700 milligrams of tren, 1,000 DQ.
This is off season stuff.
Yeah. And then
What was your total milligrams per week at that time? That point in time,
I'd say close to 3 could have been at that stage. Yeah, about 3,000, no breaks. Consider what the kind of pressure my body was on, running orals right up to the show. With Brian, my cycle was a clockwork every single show we did. 750 test, 500 EQ, 300 tren. From 12 weeks out, from 6 weeks out, take out the EQ and put Master in. That was the only change. That was it.
For youngsters watching, did that big huge jump in dosage make a monstrous difference?
Yes.
It did.
The
Okay,
trend.
don't listen.
I went. Sorry, mentally. Yeah, no,
mentally.
I'm not talking about
the
physique wise.
Physique wise. That's the message.
It's hard to know because you have to look at the variables, right? I started training harder. I probably started eating more food.
Exactly.
I went from eating like 300 grams of carbs
extremes with
to
everything
1,300 grams of carbs. Yeah.
So the extreme.
So I started taking advantage of pushing things, and I never had, right? So, but yeah, now I'm taking tren and I can't think clearly. When I go on the Anadrol, I go into the gym feeling like King Kong. On the way home, I'm crying in my car, and I don't know why. Get out of the car and fine again. Fucked up shit,
Yeah.
So at this stage, Anadrol, if you do the research, it is known to give benign tumors in the liver. That and the contraceptive pill are the two things that are known for giving benign tumors in the liver. So we know where they came from, okay? So that's where I'm leading with this. Running that Pfizer GH at 8 IUs, no doubt, helped grow them. But, if anyone doesn't realize what GH is, like, it doesn't just grow every muscle, So if you have cancer cells or tumors in your body, they're going to grow it, right? So eventually, I don't know if the telltale signs should have been there because my wife left. My girlfriend, she left me. She's like, can't be around you. Yeah. You're on your phone all the time, talking to strangers or just looking, wait for someone to like your picture, new comments. You don't even care that Jonah and I are in the room. It's like, you don't care. Like, I was empty, lads. I just genuinely was like, you're in my way then. It's all genuine. It's like, nothing's getting in my way to get this pro card. Crazy stuff, guys. Crazy. I was just heartless, just no emotion, nothing. I was gone. The lights were on, but nobody was home, So I was on a path of destruction. Genuinely, there was only one outcome ever going to be, regardless of these tumors that kind of burst or not. Like, I was on a bad path. Something bad was going to happen.
You can't go without trying.
Literally, So I'd lie to people about the situation with Alex. I'd just kind of say it was this or this happened or whatnot. I'm not to blame, or she won't let me see Jonah. All absolute bollocks. None of that was true. I chose not to. Saturday afternoon or free.
Protect yourself. Like,
I always used to take Saturday as a rest day, so it was family day. Saturday became a day of, yes, I have no work. I'm going to train Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to spend 3 hours in the gym. And just literally, and I always train in gyms, like I maybe train with somebody, but I never knew anyone in my gym that I was training in, so I never got caught up to be training, maybe training with somebody for the content, right? So it was really bad. Anyway, so long story short, one day left the gym and I felt really bloated. So that's weird. Thought nothing of it. Ate my prescribed rice cakes and jam from Patrick on the way out from the gym. Thought nothing of it. Then, when you get a vomiting bug, you can almost feel the signs coming with your tummy kind of feeling really full. So that was there. I was like, oh, bollocks, it's the vomiting bug. This is all I need. So COVID's around the corner. Everything started to close down anyway. So I'm like, bollocks, the gyms are closing and I'm fucking have a vomiting bug. Can't make the most of the fucking sessions. Anyway, so I went to bed that night thinking I'm going to wake up getting sick. But actually, instead, I started getting this really bad pain in my stomach. This is really weird. I think I've just got bad cramps. Tried to vomit. Nothing's coming up. Eventually, stuff starts coming up. It's bile. I'm like, this is really bad. What's going on? And I look at my eyes and my eyes are all yellow. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck's going on? Again, clueless. So eventually the pain's getting worse and worse. I haven't slept all night, and eventually, like, I have to go fucking go to hospital. Let's go to the emergency room, and at that stage it was triage. I had to call the doctor and everything.
This guy's good.
To even be allowed to go in. So I actually limped into the fucking ER, and they brought me straight in, and they got my bloods done on my liver. I think it was like 600 and something AST, and I don't know, my ALT is similar enough though. It was crazy. Like they're like, you need to stop taking steroids immediately. They could look at me and see, So then even then they sent me in to do a CT scan, and the CT scan was showing they couldn't see that. They said that it was so fucking inflamed and whatnot. They didn't have a true picture of it, but there was an internal bleed in my liver, and they said they've seen tumors. At that stage, like, I think you're gonna be okay, but like, it's you need to come off everything and whatnot. I'm like, okay. Over the next few days, it got worse.
So what was going on in your head at that point in time? When the doctor's telling you all of this, what was going on in your head? And right at that point in time?
All I heard was, "You're gonna be okay." So when can I go back training? So
Okay, that's what you thought. This is gonna be grand. I'll get back and
literally, and like, I'm not telling my parents the true picture. Haven't told Alex. Just like, let's get let me get in here 2 days.
Still, your main thought was, I need to get back bodybuilding.
Yeah, at this stage, because I'm like, this is just a hiccup in a row. Whoops, But then 3 or 4 days pass, and I'm getting worse, and I'm starting to lose consciousness and whatnot. They move me into ICU, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck's going on? Anyway, they're getting more scans done, and things are becoming more and more clear, and they now see there's multiple tumors in my liver, and a surgeon comes in. You're going to have to rip out with half your liver. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you're going to need a liver resection. And then I'm like, oh, fuck, okay. So now it's getting serious, you know what I mean? But I'm really, like, I'm in and out of conscious. Then one morning I wake up and they rush me out and bring me to theater. And they're like, we need to close this tumor right away. I want to stop bleeding, and I'm in and out of conscious. I can't really remember what's going on. But they get coil, basically go through my groin with coil. And you could see it on the screen. They're closing two of the tumors that are bleeding, because another one had started bleeding. And at this stage, that's where they weren't sure if I was going to pull through, because the bleeding had spread and whatnot. So it was, it was really sick. And I had the fucking, they had tested me for COVID because my liver was so fucking inflamed, swollen. It was putting pressure on me. I couldn't breathe, so I had the mask on. But I was also being isolated at that time, because they thought I had COVID. So the nurses had to put the PPU on every time. They give shit on every time they went into me, and they could only limit how much time they spent with me in the little cubicle. So it was crazy, really crazy. So I was on my own the whole time, on my own, and I couldn't really look at my phone. I don't know if you've ever seen the picture of me with the fucking things on my nose. That was when I started to come back around.
You need to get these pictures.
It's just, it was crazy. So I suppose then I knew then it was bad. The bleeding had stopped, and they were just going to wait and see what happened, because they still weren't sure I was going to pull through at this age. I can remember it, but I was so in and out, it feels like a dream, the whole thing. All I remember is just being isolated and being on my own, and looking out of the fucking desk, being in and out, like hallucinating, limiting how much water they'd let me drink and all this, because I can't have things in my body. So at this stage, it's a wake-up call. I knew dying. I knew then the doctor basically was just telling me, like, this isn't the end. This isn't the end. Like, you're starting here. We're only starting. This is going to be a long road for you. So more time I spent on my own. As crazy as this sounds, the more time I had to spend on my own, the better it was, because I had more time to think. Clarity kind of came back, So I was really realized what I had done, and realized, like, what the fuck was I doing, So I'm almost realizing, okay, I'm not going to be a bodybuilder anymore. I've lost 12 kilos as well. So in the time I'm here, I'm genuinely, like, the muscle was gone. I was so thin. So they keep me in hospital for another week. For 2 days after I got out of ICU, I was still being isolated. The test results took fucking ages. So I'm still spending time on my own, but I'm on my own anyway, like, the whole time, So they keep me stable, make sure I'm going to stay stable. All right, they're getting MRIs done, CT scans. They agree they'll let me go, but I need to start going to my GP every day for 2 weeks to get bloods done every day to ensure everything looks okay. Yeah, so did that just get released, and then at this stage I know it's over. But I've come out of hospital and I don't know who I am.
You're a death to these guys.
I get up the next morning, it was check-in day, took the pictures for Patrick, sent them over. And he had been full of apologies when I got into hospital.
Oh, really?
Being like, we pushed things too hard. I'm so sorry. I hope you're great
Wow,
checking on
you
me.
owned up to
But it was almost like once he knew I wasn't going to rat or make an announcement about this, slowly started to pull away, you know?
Did he?
So I sent the pictures and he was like, right, here's your recovery plan. Load of Tudka, astragalus, low protein diet, highish carb, and all these things to take.
A touch too late.
Let's see if we can reverse this.
Wow.
What, from a load of astragalus and
Wow,
Tudka? Well, you an expert of this, you know? So anyway, did the diet, kept checking in. He kind of stopped applying. So I kind of said to him, at the time when I left, you got to realize I was quite vulnerable when I left. I had no one to turn to. I was hiding this from everyone. I didn't tell anyone what happened to. Yeah, literally. Brian, who was in hospital, I told Brian I had there's something wrong with my stomach. And then I told Shane, and then that was it. James has been booked. Everyone thought I was in hospital for him to do like digestion or something.
Yeah,
You know, yeah. I let them believe that. So anyway, long story short, well, pride, you know, I didn't want everyone to find me right, you know, he was pushing loads of shit, you know, didn't want people to know, because I definitely was a villain in Irish bodybuilding and made myself one. So a lot of people didn't like me, so I'm sure they were going to be delighted to hear.
Playing into your
In my
wrestling
head.
days back when you're watching the heels and wrestling.
Yeah, but I'm in my head, listen, like, again, just fucking crazy, you know what I mean? So worried what other people are going to think. So worried about what other people are going to think. So anyway, I don't really know what to do. I can't do anything. I have to sit on my couch doing nothing. And long story short, that went on and on. Patrick stopped applying. At the time, I was very vulnerable. I'm so grateful, Patrick. Thank you for being here for me, blah, blah. But then he wasn't there for me. And I kind of called him out and I was like, I don't know, you're not really replying to check-ins and whatnot. And he's like, one moment you're telling me, I've done so much for you. The next moment, I'm not doing enough for you. Which one is it? I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. I just need somebody right now. And then yeah. So that was that with him and me. So let that be it. You know, kind of said, right, park on bodybuilding, and all my focus went on.
Have you ever talked to him since? Right? No, never.
No. I'd like to, for sure. You know,
interesting conversation.
I would certainly like to, for sure. You know, yeah, 100%.
You know,
but look, my focus then switched, and all I cared about was getting my family back. So everything went into try rebuilding my family and whatnot, and getting Alex to try give me another chance. Thankfully, she did. I changed a lot as a person, because I saw, because I almost kind of looked at people. I actually you'd be going in the street, like in these COVID times, so you'd only really see people when you're out, when you're a walk or in the supermarket. And you'd almost look at somebody, you could tell how not sure of themselves they are. I'm like, that's me right now. I would have fucking scoffed at you back in the day. And I started to really realize, like, you should not be so fucking judgmental, or like, you know, just such a nasty person. Like I realized how much I had gone away from who I was as a person and what a prick I'd become. So I really focused on doing work on myself and whatnot. And thankfully, Alex could see the change I was making. She gave me another chance. So then for the next few years, my identity became the family man and the dad, the person I am today. And that has not changed since I came back to body. And it's the one thing, like, I've had like a mental few weeks at work and whatnot and trying to prep and everything like that. Nothing ever changed in terms of all my children ever did was see a smile on my face. You know what I mean? Like that kind of like energy. Because for me, they had one childhood, you know. Anyway, long story short, things worked out, thank God. I got my life back on track. We had another child, we got married, everything's really good, really healthy, happy family, thank God. So, you know, really got my shit together, essentially, you know. Bodybuilding, I thought, was in the rear view mirror. So I did get back in a little bit of training, but mainly just trying to like play rugby or, you know, just try to stay fit and whatnot. No aspiration. I genuinely thought I was done, because I suppose a big part of the story I left out was after I left hospital, I was working with a liver surgeon, and he brought me back to say, right, the tumors are everywhere in your liver. So we actually can't do a liver resection. We're going to look at a transplant. And he's like, there's too many there to leave. There's too many above 2 centimeters. Was a 1.5, I can't remember. Anyway, they are size for operation. So we're probably going to have to look at a transplant. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So I've actually almost accepted I've wiped 20 years off my life. You know? So that's another thing, is like, I got to live life to the fullest, right? However, then I remember kind of the scans started to show they were reducing in size. So they were like, hang on. So they brought it to what they called like a multidisciplinary committee in the hospital, where a bunch of doctors look at it and decide what's next. And they said, hold the ball. Because this is like relatively new. You don't see, they were kind of saying there's not a lot of clinical research on this. But what happened, what we were seeing was that with the lack of androgens in my body and the lack of growth, the tumors were shrinking.
Wow.
So for years, I went through the hypogandism because of it. It was shit, but I stayed off everything. And the majority of those tumors have now shrunk, or most of them have actually disappeared, the smaller ones. So I'm now in a place where my liver now has a load of tumors gone.
Yeah.
And I am left, unfortunately, with some of the larger ones.
Yeah.
However, they're under constant surveillance. So I'm under surveillance. I get a scan done every 6 months to ensure they're not getting any bigger or whatnot, you know. So yeah, long story short, I had been following Alan because I used to get up at like 3:30 to train when our second was born, and he used to train at that time. And like I'd be following him along, watching him, like always want to write him, going, I'm up training too from home. And then I stayed in touch. Conor McGee, who was a very good friend of mine, we stayed in touch through the years, you know. And yeah, we kept saying we need to meet up. And then he mentioned Alan was opening a gym. It was 20 minutes from my house. So I'll put up that they're having an opening day. And then, yeah, long story short, I went to the open day. Conor was ginormous. I felt like a little twig. I got box. It was Delton arms, thank
The
God.
important fact to this, that was 2 years ago yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, 2
It's
years.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the first time I officially met Alan properly.
How many years is that from the hospital to 2 years ago?
That was
It's like 5 years of that back up.
What is it now? That would have been 4 years. Of course, yeah, 4 years. 2024. So yeah, 4 years since March 2020. Yeah, 4 and a bit years. Yeah. So anyway, I started training, getting to know Alan, and at this stage, I just started a bit of TRT and had my first scan to show it actually had no impact on the tumors. I go, cool. So I was training away with Conor. The muscles started to kind of come back relatively quick, and then Al and I had a conversation, and
When can I go back to P games?
I was really nervous. I didn't know if I could do this or not. I thought it was done. I thought it was genuine.
That's fair enough.
Even though I'm around it again, I think I'm just gonna have to be a cheerleader. You know what I mean? I'm like, so I wish, you know, but I'll support everyone and whatnot. But Al sat me down. He was like, look, I've kind of looked into this, and I think we can do it again. I believe I can do it healthily.
You were at 32, right?
Yeah, I was 32 at the time. Yeah, so I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, I do. So I suppose I'll take over from here. But I suppose for me, like what we did, like in terms of anything we've done since, we've had multiple MRIs done on the liver, and all we're seeing is those tumors continue to shrink and shrink. And in fact, coming off my last cycle before we started that prep, which was peak dosages, that's the best my liquor values have ever looked. Yeah. So that's, I suppose, I'll hand over to you, Al, in terms of what you saw, in terms of what you believe in that, and
Yeah,
the recklessness of it, and how you saw what
Yeah, 'cause, like,
it is.
I hadn't heard or seen Christian in years. Wasn't aware of anything that had happened. I just keep myself locked in my own little bubble with my athletes, and that's it. And then obviously rocked up to the gym on the open day. We had a brief chat. From the time that I met him, I didn't start coaching it for 6 months. So it was like December or something like that. Like this was June. It was December when I actually started coaching him. So we had a chat anyway. Within a week or two of him being in the gym, he had said that he's on a little bit of testosterone, which was actual true TRT. It was being monitored by another doctor at the time. Well, that was fine. So he's consistent with blood work because he has to be. He's consistent with scans on the liver to see if there is a reverse or is there a progression on the lesions that are there. There was no movement, and if anything, they were improving. So that was interesting for me. And then we had sat down, obviously, you know, standing to chat in the gym. He was with Con, and then I could see visually as he's walking into the gym, like, fuckers growing
Changing like crazy.
every week.
I'd love to
Like,
see that.
see
I was saying to you about
the legs.
Yeah, it was fun, man.
Legs are increasing. I'm noticing this when I'm walking in and out of the office. I'm like, if this is him on testosterone, and this is, you know, where he is from a scan perspective, a blood work perspective, this is probably doable. But I didn't know where here was. So I didn't say nothing, just I'm gonna observe. Obviously me and Christian then got closer, and then he'd asked me a few things. He had said, I won't throw the doctor under the bus, but a doctor had asked him to go on different peptides and growth hormone analogs, which you've just heard the story, how ludicrous that is, right?
Stay away from them.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything that's going to increase, you know, or expansion of blood vessels within any cells, lesions, etc., is you're going to end up back in square one again. You might not get a second chance. So Christian mentioned that to me, and I was like, you fucking, whatever you do not fucking do that. And that's then more conversation. And my background is in physiology. So it's like, look, this is where you're sort of at. This is the options. I can see that you're grown. So Christian then had said to me, look, I think you said that you had a wedding or 2 weddings or
That's
something.
right. We started after those. Yeah, exactly.
So a
yeah.
wedding, this is probably about September, October. I have a wedding in November, I have a wedding in December. I was like, look, I'll take the reins then when all of that's done. So that came about. There was more blood work done at that point. There was more scans done at that point, and everything was, look, his alanine aminotransferase and aspartate transferase was always going to be elevated. Phase 2 was always going to be slightly elevated, but it wasn't anything, that I would say, Jesus, mate, this is not where you want to be. And in the scans, importantly, because as you know, look, lab work is lab work, but your lab work can hide a lot of things. Exactly, yeah. So you're looking at scanner work, you're looking at your analysis. All of this was all coming back in a really positive position. So we gently, just one thing that baffles me, will always baffle me, is in this coaching end that coaches given templates, 8-week templates, 12-week templates of cycles. Fuck me, incredible. Anyway, I slowly titrated up testosterone. So we got from TRT to maybe 250 across the week. Let's wait. Let's see what the response is like first and foremost from the body. The body is grown as if it's been on triple that.
Yeah, but I mean, there's nothing in your.
So we're looking at, obviously, you want to milk everything for what it's worth. Everything that you do there is you can't do it twice. It's perishable, right? So if we're at this point where we're super androgen sensitive, and obviously he's got his nutrition and stuff locked in, which you would have had that mindset from previously before, and we're seeing that response because he's created that novel stimulus again from training, from years off training. So down to, you look at like the physiology of the muscle cell and muscle memory, as we all know, we start to see that come back. So I was like, okay, let's put this in, let's wait. Got bloods done. Bloods were better than what they were beforehand. Interesting. We got the scan done. Scans are good. So we're about 6 months in now. And I brought in a DHC derivative. I was like, we're going to walk this in similar amount and then see what your body's doing at every single point. We're already going to give it what it needs to elicit the response. But I sat Christian down when I chatted to Christian, and look, you know Christian. So I had said to him, look, mate, if your body is and your physiology is responding the way I want it to respond, you can take fucking bodybuilding far. If your body goes back to where it was and I'm at the reins, I can take this way further. I've done what you've been before, and look, the butterfly effect, if you had it came to me years ago, maybe this would not happen. But this is where we are now. So let's see. So that was that. Then in that conversation, I'd actually, and I say this because obviously you've spoke about it, I said to you, under no fucking circumstances outside of physiology, if the psychology goes, if I notice any changes, shifts in your paradigm, I'm done. It was like, I say that with love. I don't give a fuck if you're the day out and you're looking like you're going to be my next pro athlete. I don't care. I will pull the reins, and we're done with this. We're done with bodybuilding stuff for you.
Before you had that conversation with him, well, that came up.
Yeah.
And the first time the Christian approached you.
Yeah.
Was there any point in your mind where you're thinking, fuck, this is a bad idea working with this guy because of his medical history or anything of the sort? Or you like...
No, because at this point, I didn't know what his medical history was.
Right.
Oh, really? You were the first people I told it.
When I initially sat down with him to chat is when I actually went through the medical report.
Right.
You through it. Yeah. So that's where we went through everything, and we seeing, right, well, this is where we're at. And at that point, it was like the main thing for me, as I said before I started coaching, was like, don't you fucking take any peptides. Don't you take anything. It's going to be an analog or a surrogate growth hormone.
Everything is in the side effect way.
So at that point then it was like, right, I know what you're capable of doing if we can keep your body in a healthy position, but there's no circumstances, or there's no fucking parallel world here where I'm going to let your health be compromised or your mental health be compromised. Because things have changed now. So that's what I'm saying, where I stepped it up a tiny bit, we'll test, tiny bit, test. And look, like looking at the physique progression, it would look like he was taking a shit out of gear anyway. Because the physique was just coming back. And he was getting leaner as he was growing.
Yeah.
So that was that. And obviously I had that conversation then that, look, up here has to be right. And everything, was fucking flying. Everything's perfect. Like, me and Christian have gotten really close. And I have to have that open relationship, that rapport with my athletes. That's like, they speak to me that look, as a coach, as you know, you can't coach and you can't help what you don't know. What's being happening, right? So, especially with now understanding, because I didn't know he was a prick beforehand. Yeah.
I was going to ask you that.
I love how
Question.
old
Would you
he
have
is.
coached old Christian if you knew how
If he had a came to me.
terror.
back then? Yeah, young Christian coming to you. And he's
So
like,
when Christian was gonna come to me that time, I'd say he probably would have lasted a week.
okay. But now, Christian, in your head, at that time when Alan said, okay, look, we can go far with this, did anything from the past ever come up like
that's what I was
like,
thinking as well,
did that's like spurring of like, maybe I can go back to and be one of
No,
those?
the one I felt was
Not a-
fear.
Really?
Fear
Okay.
that I couldn't do it. Yeah.
But no, I didn't. When I said that we can go far with this, this wasn't thrown in the same quote as what Patrick had put it.
Yeah.
No,
I had said
that I understand.
As you've
I'm
met
just
back on
wondering-
stage.
we can go far if.
Yeah.
And that if was huge.
No, I understand that, but old Christian now didn't listen to ifs. Remember when I asked him the question about the doctor?
yeah.
He was just like, how soon can I get back at gym?
Mhm.
So that's what I was asking. What was going on in his head?
Oh, no, fear.
Fear,
I could
fear,
do this again. Genuine belief. Yeah.
So then as time went, week to week, we went through I wouldn't call it an improvement phase, but let's call it like a re-establishment. Of let's get back to where you are, and push up. And then we haven't hit like anything in terms of obviously, the anabolics of choice. So we haven't done anything in respect to like the nor we've already really used testosterone, DHT derivative, and our ancillaries, and obviously growth hormone and X, Y, Z, which is quite obvious when you listen to the reasons why. So I'm a big believer, and you'll always hear me say and preach, your healthy body is a responsive body.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
And staying on top of that, and healthy body, healthy mind, is seeing his physique come back to life. So fast forward now a year, we've went through that re-establishment phase. We've got him back to a position muscle mass wise where I'm happy. Then we started where I said, right, look, there's this show that's coming up, which was obviously the muscle contest that just passed 2 weeks ago. I was like, let's look at we were at a leanish point coming out of the back end of that phase. I was like, let's look at just walking into it. So we went away. That was perfect. Now, at the same time, Christian we got our fucking 4 different promotions in the last year. So his requirements and duties and responsibilities and work have elevated. So a lot of traveling happened during the prep and stuff. When you go back to my conversation, if I feel like anything is going to disrupt this, I am not willing to do it. Now, from a health perspective, the blood work, as I think you touched on it, the last bloods we got was the best Christian's liver has ever looked. His liver was for the first time in range. So this was great, right? But the fatigue was building. As you know, Christian gets super fucking peeled. We're at that point where we were sitting there, we're about 5 weeks out, 6 weeks out. I was like, we need to wait. This, if I push you any harder here, this is not going to end well. We're getting to a point here where the body's getting harder to shut up. It's getting harder to maintain. Your responsibilities in respect to traveling is increasing. And then you've got the pressure. We spoke off camera there, the Irish community, the pressure of he's making his
Christian's
comeback.
back,
This, that, and the other. So I sat Christian down. And look, it's probably not the nicest conversation for Christian to hear, but I had said to him, look, Christian, trust me. I had said, look, we can come here now and you'll be super fucking conditioned and you look fantastic, but you can be better. You can definitely be better. So we need to wait. So we're going to park this. We're going to push the goalposts out. We're going to start prep, about 8.5 weeks out from the regionals. That's enough time for me as Christian, as a genetically fucking unique individual, for him to get like peeled. So I'm going to use this as like a semi-rebound. We got to a point in scale weight where I wasn't happy with. I thought we were too low. Now the condition was you could walk on stage at any point. but we were too long. So I've brought him back up now to like Christian. Pretty like you're not too far away from walking on stage now. Like condition.
Well, when it's the difference. You've brought my carbs to 900 on 950 on a trade.
Yeah, and the body is furnace
on non-trading and 1300 on that
on a Sunday with a meal off plan, and the body is holding now around that 90 on TRT, and the body is holding at that like 90 kilo-ish mark, which is where I want them to be. And the conversation when I moved the goalposts was, I want you here and I want to improve the look here. If we're dropping down into the mid 80s, I don't like it. It might look great here because you're so conditioned, but we're losing something in your physique. So yeah. So we brought him back up to 5-6 kilos. I want to hold there, improve the look there, and then coast them into September. But again, I'll put it on camera. If I felt like I see any, extreme degradation of blood work, urinalysis, or scans, or mental health, it's gone. So that's where we are at.
Christian, now you going home and having this conversation with your missus about you getting back into bodybuilding, right? Was this just a walk straight to the house? Hey, babe, I'm getting back into this. Or it's like, that's really well. And how did she receive it?
That's a very good question. So, bear in mind, I'm training for months without Al.
Yeah.
And first, Al, the good as his own heart. I was telling him what I was doing or whatnot. He just, I think it was organically going that way. I was going to go to you at that stage, But he was, even if I hadn't, Al was just being nice and like, because a lot of people don't realize he's the time of day for anyone. He would just give me a steer, like, I would do this instead. I said, maybe do this, because I was still doing my own thing, getting back into it. So, but at the same time, when I joined the gym, we went on family holiday and we came back, and Alex joined the gym. So my wife joined the gym as well. She got to know Alan.
Yeah.
She is like super close. She's the best friends with Alan's fiance, Eva, now, she got to know Eva. She got to know Alan. She got to know everybody. So whilst this was building and back training on it, Alex has gotten back into the gym as well. And she's gotten to know Alan. So it actually, in a weird way, might sound silly, but the trust was with Alan.
Yeah.
If this had been any other coach, that trust wouldn't have been there. But she knew him now. And she's gotten to know Alan for a couple of months now, and Evan and everything, and she trusts him, and she sees how knowledgeable he is and whatnot, So I think if it was any other coach, I think it would have brought back trauma for her and really bad memories. But she's just seen me start to do this in a very different light. Getting up in the morning when everyone's asleep, training, and first thing in the morning,
The mind
back to doing the school run, do this, do that. She's seeing it under Alan, and she trusts Alan.
Yeah.
She's tidy with
I
Alan.
think you said to me, it's a hobby now.
Yes, it's a hobby.
It's not
And Alan makes sure that that's the case. He'll come up. We're super tight as friends now, but he'll pull me up. Like, he'll be like, you need it. There was times that prep at the end when I was so fatigued. He was like, "You're not yourself. I'm worried about you." Yeah, like genuinely. So, and that was the case. I was like, push, and it was the right call, because now a million times feeling better, and just that pressure I had, like towards May, it's gone. I'm very chill about September now. I really am. Like, I'm so super chill about it.
You're going to be super prepared for it, right? You're not
I just don't feel that. It's gone now.
Yeah.
It's gone. I just feel like I was chasing something, and then now it's gone. There's no pressure. Just get back up there. That's the only goal. So what shows are you doing? Just muscle contest for now. Just get back up there. Just get back.
You have to remember, right? It's bodybuilding.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
that deep.
Yeah.
So
That's what you said to me. Literally, it's not that deep. Yeah.
them words, like,
Literally.
regardless of where you are. Obviously we briefly spoke about this type of stuff off camera there, but like, it's a sport, it's a hobby. Yes, bodybuilding has given me absolutely everything in life, and my whole education is based around what I wanted to do. But it's not the World Cup final, and if you lose a show that you're expected to win, or everybody is waiting for you to win, you still go home, help your family, the stuff, just have a roof over your head. It's bodybuilding,
It's hard to have that perspective when you're inside it.
I know, but this is what I try to hit home to my athletes is that's like, look, if you're one of these athletes that's like, if I don't win this show, I am done, play soccer, because this ain't for you.
Yeah, it's not for you.
Bodybuilding, you are going to, across your journey as a bodybuilder, you are going to lose more than you win, regardless of how fucking good you are, unless you're Phil Heath. Yeah. So, for that, everybody wants to go and win, and I speak about this a lot on my stories, and even a lot of new inquiries from athletes across Europe have came in, and they all have that sort of mindset. From what I can see over the last few months, is that I need to win this. I need to get my card and all. I need to do this.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, but everybody going into that show wants to do that. We're in a game here of progression. So where were you last season? Where were your placements last season? What was your feedback last season? Can we improve the look? Because let's say you had been second in a show last season, right? And you've taken your off season, everything has gone perfectly. And then you come third in your first show this season. But you're way better than what you are at second. You're winning. You know, like we cannot, like, I'm not like insanely autistically OCD about how I do things, right? And that's helped me with, you know, academically over the years, right? But I can only control so much. You as the athlete can only control so much. You know, we step on stage, it's out of our control.
Yeah.
You can control your presentation, and we can make sure that we hit the marker based off the criteria. The rest is up to them.
Here's one for you, Alan. Somebody comes to you, I want to be a pro. How do you break it to them that they're never ever going to be a pro in their life? You're fucked. You know, like when you know, when we look at a structure, there's no chance on earth you're going to be
Exactly like that.
You just tell them up.
Yeah.
Do not waste your life with this. Like this is your potential, right?
Yeah. So we would look at, so if someone came to me and was like, because it happens a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure it does, right?
I want to win my pro card.
Yeah.
I will literally say to them, and if, like, unless they can, I believe that they can, then
Yeah.
be told, I do believe that you can, but we need to do this,
This amount of time, right?
Just because you're good enough, and just because I believe you can, and just because you believe you can, does not mean that you will, right? So, but if you can't, then this person's just genetically predisposed to just being a poor bodybuilder. Then we just have to, you know, it's more, I'm not going to be an absolute dick about it and be like,
So it'd be nice, you know,
yeah.
structure maybe, or
but look, you know,
Like, look at Fuller, look at you. Come on.
I appreciate what you're saying, but you don't know yet what's out there, right? So you don't understand that. I don't want you to step on stage. If you want to be in bodybuilding because you love it, and, you know, we could hit the condition marker, and then you could build a physique that maybe is competitive at like a national level.
be honest with
But I don't want you to need to blow smoke up your arse and start making fucking these posts on Instagram saying that you're this and you're that and you're this, and then you get going and I bring you into, you know, the Portugal Pro qualifier, and you look a state. You will never bodybuild again. And who's to blame? Because you're not to blame. You've done what you've told. What you were told. I'm to blame because I've blown smoke up your arse. And I don't think that there's enough coaches that take onus on that.
Absolutely, yeah. It's way too much. We've all seen you know, someone's Instagram thing. They put up, you know, the Olympia O or something. It's like, please stop putting else. You're never ever going to get there. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's you're born to do this.
Like there's
You know,
very, very, very few people that have the ability to be able to do that. But that doesn't mean that bodybuilding, you know, isn't for everyone.
Right.
Right?
Well, maybe the limits that you, or the how far you're willing to push, you need to just
Exactly. There needs to be honest conversations.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think they happen anywhere near as much as they should do in bodybuilding.
Facts.
You know,
Yeah.
really some awful stuff there. And you know,
Say
there's like,
something. I thought you were going to say something there.
you know, like some coach, you can tell there's, you know, there's certain ones we know of, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, they'll have a plan that's made out for years for them. Okay, we'll do this show here, off season, this show here, but they're competing all the time.
Yeah, they're not approving.
No,
And then,
no,
but
they
then,
can't.
it's then the excuses come out, and this is his fault. This is my tan was wrong. You know, my tan was in bits.
The grass is always greener.
You know, the judges just wanted a harder look. No, bro, you were fat. Say you were. Or I wanted this. It's just not what they're looking for. It's like, oh mate, you know, you're not in this position yet to achieve that goal. And if you don't have the genetics to do so, well, then you're never going to be there. And it's up to your coach to say that to you. You know, like let's just like reestablish and have a chat about, you know, your goals. Let's just reposition them. There's absolutely nothing wrong with being a good national level bodybuilder. We all love bodybuilding. It's a game of progression. You don't want to bankrupt yourself and put your health in a critical position for something that, not critical, but your health in a compromised position based off of fucking pipe dream.
That's what I always say about but you know, people ask me what I'm going to do and stuff, and I say, like, there's one little year left or whatever. So I said, if I can give a good push for an overall at PCA show, PCA is my level. NPC, I need to be 10 kilos heavier. It's going to take me 2 or 3 years of pushing extremely hard to get there. It's also going to take 10 years off my life. And that can never weigh up. You know, so I know my structure, the way I'm born, PCA. That's my level. And look, if people are realistic, you know, PCA's here, NPC's the next level, maybe, you know, NABA's down, but, you know.
Do we feel, though, people have stopped enjoying it? Because, you know, you see a lot of people who've turned pro,
a lot of what they say is they wish they spent more time enjoying it when they were chasing it.
Right. I was actually going to mention something about that. So I was lucky enough, obviously, before I started getting to that level where I was actually winning my divisions and just missing the pro card. I was fortunate enough that I managed to watch an episode of Ford Aviad's podcast where he mentioned that a lot of his stuff was just a blur. And the best thing to do is absorb everything. So one of the things that always, yeah, sure, I used to get disappointed and whatnot, but I'd go backstage. But before I'd go out to my family, you know, friends, whatever the case may be, I'd step backstage and be like, okay, this has happened. It's not those people out there's fault. You know what I mean? The disappointment happened to me, so I shouldn't take it out on them. You know, that kind of thing. So that's something I've always kept to myself, and it's something that I always try and teach other people. But what I have noticed is I don't think people are bodybuilding because they love bodybuilding anymore. I think they're bodybuilding because of social media. Absolutely. That's it.
But I know from my own win or lose, I can count a fair amount of shows back in the day, but like probably 2 or 3 shows I can look back on. They actually enjoyed.
Yeah.
Genuinely, like, just, you know, but like, it's, yeah, you're right in what you're saying, but like, I think whether it's social media, whatever the reason is, like, I think we've gone away from enjoying it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you're somebody that is truly capable of winning a pro card, right? And let's look at the amateurs in the country now at the moment in Ireland, right? There's a few, there's probably about 10 between male and female that do have the capabilities to go and become an IFBB pro, right? You may never win a show again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
Go
the thing.
pro.
That's the thing. Yeah.
And you're highly likely you'll never win a show again.
Yeah.
When you go pro. So enjoy being an amateur. There's so much pressure that's coming with you know, if you are at the top end in the amateur league within the NPC, and there's this like pressure that's coming with it that like anything other than being in an overall is deemed as a failure.
Yeah.
That's what bodybuilding is about for me.
What bodybuilding is about, like exactly what you said. You better than you were last time. That's it. It's against all the direction. Yeah, absolutely. You look at your picture last time. Yeah, I'm better. You're grand.
And that's your win. And then
That's
the
absolutely,
actual tangible wins, trophy slams, they come as a byproduct, right?
No matter how hard you work, you'll never outwork your genetics, like, you know. Yeah, you know, no matter how much drugs you take, you'll never ever outwork them. You just look like a terrible mess, like, you know. Like,
You could probably speak to that more, Tom, being the youngest one. What you're saying with the younger people, social media, your age group.
It's probably more people just trying to like convey influencers or whatever on Instagram, just building a following up.
yeah.
And cause most of the stuff that you put on Instagram, like rage baity videos, and they're receiving their road to close on Instagram on the reels. Most of them are just rage baiting videos. I think if you ever look through the comments, it's just to drive attention, drive hate comments.
Yeah.
Therefore, your profile gets up in the face for everybody to say.
Publicities.
Yeah.
People that turn pro generally don't talk about turning pro.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like that's your goal that you work with your coach for. And it doesn't need to be broadcasted, because if you're like what coach you're telling me you're putting up, you know, road to pro, etc. You gotta get a call up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should do as well, right?
Take that down.
But if please don't tag me that. Oh. But
Alan said I can be pro.
let's say that, you know, you're winning all these shows and you're capable of doing it. Like, why are you putting so much pressure on yourself, Frank? Why are you bringing this? Because it's not going to result in anything financial with fucking you putting this up and people hitting the like button and commenting and telling you this and that and this and that. All it does is it creates this absolutely massive, unwavering level of pressure.
On you.
I don't know how anybody can prep like that, because you'll get people that also like what you mentioned now, but they'll also be like, oh, is this person competing? Do you know this person? They're doing the show, this and that, blah blah blah.
You see people
Where-
touching shows and everything, sure.
Just for certain things. Whereas like I always say, like, even for myself, one thing that I lived by was just take it one day at a time. I got through my cardio in the morning, I got through my meals, I got through my training in the evening. Tomorrow's another day that I will deal with those things when the time comes. I'm not worried about what's the end journey, you know what I mean? Until I get there.
Yeah, and you should never decide what show you're going to do based off who else is doing it.
Correct.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I did it with Brian and took the class,
Yeah.
but I regret it forever. I would regret it forever.
Abroad, you never know. So like,
So why would you do it at home?
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, it's like you can't win at home turf.
but then also you can lose on home turf and still go and do it, because there's
Yeah, 100%.
you could be in a class where someone else is just as good as it, and you know, you could be I fucking hate using the term, but pro card contender, and someone else they've pipped you here. It doesn't mean that you're not gonna go in the next show or fucking 6 months of next year and win your card.
Yeah.
Or winning overall or whatever that specific goal may be. But if you're dodging people at this level,
Exactly. That's what
It's not great.
practice in
It's
front
not-
of
That's
you.
what you can't beat. Sorry, I should say
you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, if you can't compete on a home turf, you know what makes you compete abroad. Then you know what I mean? Like, whether it's win or lose, that shouldn't necessarily, as Alan said, decide whether you do that show you plan to do in France in 2 weeks' time. Go do it, but still do the show here, because the as you say now, like it's like you could lose them today, and we see this all the time. He could beat you at home in Ireland, but maybe go abroad, and then you beat him.
Yeah.
I mean, different.
It can happen from that show.
Exactly, you
It
know.
comes down to fine margins, especially in some of the categories. You know, somebody has to be given a win.
Yeah.
And if you're both very, very close, one of you is losing, one of you is winning. But both of you are winning in the long term, right? So if you are both getting better out of 3 years, sometimes you'll see a first call out in Alicante last week, right? Brian's class, where he finished 4th, right? That top 6, he could have flipped them anyway. They could have, any of them could have won, you know. It really, it doesn't matter. You have to be focused on that process of, am I fucking improving or am I going backward?
Yeah, I think for men sometimes it's pride for men.
Oh,
Because they really don't want to lose this guy.
Yeah, especially you know, so
if you're talking big about you're this good a bodybuilder, you're that good,
And it's okay, but if you get beaten abroad, it's okay. Cause
Nobody knows.
so the best one that you see abroad though, lads, is when you see the pictures and it's like second place,
Stacked.
like there's 2 in the
Oh
class.
yeah.
Like in the pub side.
So you can never take
Yeah.
it. That's the thing I was trying to say. What do you think about Irish bodybuilding now? I think there's some very positive thing, but it's way too diluted now. Way too many shows. That's exactly what happens. Everybody's getting a gold medal or a silver medal.
Yeah.
I'll put it right there. Second came for like my last show. There's 2 in it.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
taking that
You
last-
almost be embarrassed to say you won.
Yeah.
You know.
Like,
Like, you know, not
yeah, but you can only- you can-
or anything
yeah.
like that, but you know what I mean? So
You can
it's-
only beat who's in front of you.
Yeah, I know.
There's
If
that.
there is no one
there is
there.
that,
It's
yeah.
too diluted, isn't it? Like,
But,
you know.
yeah, like there's obviously, look, it's a good thing that there's more shows in Ireland then,
Yeah.
right? But then at the same time, yeah, you see like, oh well, I'm not doing this PCA show because I'm gonna do this show, or I'm not doing this show because I'm gonna do this show.
There's almost too much shots now.
It's just wild. It's just
I
like
was
you're in
saying-
shape, just fucking compete.
I was saying to Christian, what I want to do for my last few runs of shows, like pick like the muscle contest, and I'm sure it's something you might get on board, but like it's going to be a great show anyway, say the one in May. But say to everybody, regardless of how good you are, what your aspirations are, let's all go and do that show. Anybody that's competing around there, let's all go and do that show and put on a great show.
That's the whole purpose of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But if we could
Like-
actually get that message out, that like,
I've never really spoke about my input into the muscle contest. Like what happened with that was that that was a journey of 4 years trying to get that to make that come to fruition, and it was back and forth. Me constantly on the phone to Brian Bullen and be like, look, you know, I'm bringing all my athletes abroad, but they're competing here, but we're seeing RADBF has no numbers. NAB is gone. You know, PCA, it's up in Derry, it's a fucking hike. Yeah, the shows to be good, but it doesn't feel like nationals. So can we get a regional? Oh, I don't know if the numbers are there. And in fairness to Brian, he fought to it now with me to do it. But then eventually it came down to, right, well, we can get this done, but it's going to cost. No, I don't get a fucking penny out of anything in muscle contest. I don't get anything. Like, I don't want anything, but it was important to me that in order, because I touched on earlier on, Irish bodybuilding's given me everything, right? It's built fucking, I don't come from much at all. And it's given me fucking who I am, right? It's built my company. So I was like, I want to give back. I want us to be able to have a regional so that we're taken more serious abroad. This helps the athletes, this helps the coaches. It brings everything up, right? So, but that cost me 10 grand per regional. So that's done 3 of them. So I invested €30,000 into Irish bodybuilding. And this is not me blowing my trumpet, but this was my thank you to Irish bodybuilding. But I didn't expect, I didn't get offered a penny back. Nor do I want it. I wanted to see Ireland, like, we have a fucking regional now. We are, if you look at the rule book now, we are a regionally required country. But when I did it, what surprised me most,
People are going to give it already.
the backlash.
yeah.
What? Like, if this affected anybody, I have the most athletes out of everybody. So like, if like,
And the hole in your pocket.
yeah, listen, but aside from how much I've invested into it, you know, my coaching team in terms of you know, if we're going to be numerical about it, that competing the NPC is a lot larger than every other coach that's here. So if it affects fucking anybody, this affects me.
My slight thing was like, why have the regional away from the thing
Because
on the same day, right? Because then it's
I
just
get
like,
that.
is this just a money grab? You know,
But it's not though.
I know, but
Right.
that's what you think.
Yeah,
when
because
you
that's
first see it.
yeah, and I get that, and I understand that, and I brought that up to them,
Yeah.
and the way they said it was, if we do it a week beforehand, well then the athlete has to pay to travel, pay for their tan, and they have to pay it twice. So now you're paying your €150 for your tan, and then you're paying it again €150 for your tan. You're paying for your hotel. So if you have the luxury of being in Dublin, but you're paying for your hotel again, and you're paying for it a week later. So when they said that to me, I was like, yeah, no, fair enough. Now what I want to do is put it the day beforehand. But then they're putting it the day beforehand helps us as coaches and as athletes that, you know, my athletes aren't super fatigued then coming into the pro qualifier. As I said earlier on, I didn't peak any of my athletes for the regional because the pro qualifier was what mattered to us. But you've got then your Hungarian bodybuilders, male, female, German, UK, etc., all coming over in the evening, fresh bikini competitors, fresh makeup. Our girls are walking off stage after fighting tooth and nail for a fucking regional. You know what I mean? So I want the regional to be the day beforehand, and I've committed to continuously reinvest into the regional in May, and that's my commitment to, you know, muscle contest and Irish bodybuilding. September, I don't know what's happening with September. Whether I'll play some role in it, I don't know yet. I was like, I keep throwing for 20 grand a year. That's way up.
Maybe I think maybe it was a top 3 thing though. The fact that anybody you just do the region, then you can do
But
it.
if you did that though, and I get that, but if you did that, there's uproar. Because then if we're talking about the regionals being a tick box, let's say you don't want to compete until November, right? Let's say you're like, right, because you touched on obviously this year, last year, let's say you wanted to do the Euro Masters and fight for a pro card in the Masters, yeah? But that's November 11th, right? You have to do the regional to qualify for that. You don't want to be in shape at the regional in terms of 100%. You just want to be a little mini cut into it, tick the box. But what if you come fourth because you just so happen to be in a big class and you haven't peaked for it? And then you can't go. Your whole fucking year has been built towards doing this master show. You can't do it then.
Can you do a regional in any country, or it has
No.
to be
in your
But
country.
you also have to think of
You can do it, but you can't qualify.
We go back to, you know, it's an expensive sport as well. If you only do top 3, say there's a show like I think Germany's the week after the regional.
Up and all,
You're gonna have to book flights only after the Sunday. So most contests is Sunday this year, right? In September, you have to book flights that night or Monday. It's gonna cost an arm.
The top 3, if it's top 3, now it's a fucking battle. Now there's no, you know, you're going in there to fucking fight because your season's over if you don't get a top 3. You know what I mean?
It has pros and cons, though, right? Because it makes the show better because you can't just come in kind of a little bit off. Just, you know what I mean? In that case.
But if we did a top 3, then we'd be the only country in the world that did as top 3.
Yeah.
I think if we look around Europe, what Al wants to do, that if we look at the other countries, that's what the majority are doing. Sweden are doing that regional day before, pro qualifier day after. Germany are doing it, Italy are doing it. So if we actually look at the dates of the shows, if you go put up the autumn calendar, you'll see that.
There's always
So most countries are doing that, the regional day before. So we're essentially just following suit. Do you know what I mean? And then everyone wins. Do you know what I mean? So you can afford to kind of look, if you're in shape, you're going to still look fucking good the day before pro qualifier. You really should be, or you're in trouble. You know what I mean? So not peaking for that. You're still going to fucking...
Well, you have enough time to change.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there a plan to get another pro qualifier at September as well? Is it? That's what? No, that's not there.
No.
The man needs to be there.
They don't have the numbers yet to facilitate too. So they're really just, I don't think there'll ever be a second pro qualifier.
Small.
To be honest, does there need to be a second pro qualifier? Because you're required then, you're reliant on, you know, fucking European athlete decision and all that.
Go have a chat with hotels and tell them to drop their prices for Dublin. And it was, I'm sure it scared a lot of people.
Oh, that for sure.
Though, to be fair.
We've got like 10 minutes left. You guys just want to run through some questions quickly? All right, fire. Let's go. Yeah, let's go for it. Okay, well, first one, question for Ellen. What is the biggest mistakes you see coaches make during peak week?
Oh, fuck. We've got 10 minutes left. Use of diuretics. What they don't understand the mechanisms behind the diuretic. A thought process of quote unquote depletion when your athlete's already in shape. not given enough time to fix any spillage, which would tie back into not monitoring data enough. They'd be the big ones. And then obviously the overhauling one would be not having your athlete in shape going into the week and thinking that a peak week should be a tweak week, and to bring that extra little bit to produce the look that you want.
Okay, all right. To all of you guys, do you believe you can grow legs training them once a week?
Absolutely, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Of course you can.
Yeah. I maybe ask them to follow up, but why?
Yeah, that's a strange.
All right.
Train legs once a week.
Yeah.
No. No. What are the most slept on supplements?
Slept on supplements. Cran. Oh, yeah.
I still feel like electrolytes because before, I'll be honest.
love electrolytes.
No. Before I went on, I never took electrolyte in my life.
Really,
Swear to God.
I don't.
So I'm only taking
I
electrolytes.
don't think people value their gut health enough.
Yes,
that's
a true
point. Which is something that should take priority over everything as far as actual over-the-counter supplements.
Yeah, the whole supplements and blood work cost too much money, but I got money for 3 grams of cred.
Yeah.
Big supplements in general is way overhyped. Right? You know.
Oh yeah, definitely 100%.
You know, eat a good healthy diet, you'll probably be good.
Yeah. Okay, 30 minutes of hard training, but you can't complete the whole workout, or 1 hour of getting through your whole workout, but with less intensity.
30 minutes of hard intensity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're hardcore bodybuilders.
Yes.
You agree on that? Okay, cool. All right.
I want an hour of like reps in reserve. Fuck that. Joe Barry. Yeah.
Okay, so I've got one here that's directed to me as a South African coming into Ireland. How do I find the Irish bodybuilding culture? Okay, I'm gonna make this a 2-minute question. So for me, I'm lucky because when I came here, I met the likes of like Brian, Rachel Dutton, fantastic people. So now I'm gonna put the question out to you guys. How do you guys find the Irish bodybuilding culture as Irish people living in Ireland, doing bodybuilding right now? Do you feel it is supportive? You guys a team, or is it like an every man for himself, or do you find that there's a lot of backstabbing and what's the word I'm looking for? But basically, like
Begrudgery.
yeah, begrudgery. That's a good word. Yes, yeah.
There is, I'll just be honest, there's a lot. Unfortunately, in Irish bodybuilding, there's a culture of begrudgery. And I've felt it a lot as I said to the lads here, the more success my team has had over the last couple of years, the bigger the target on my back has become. And, that's being quite evident. And it's not something that for me and my personality doesn't actually bother me. But I don't want anyone to ever take away from, the work or the talent that my athletes have.
I think it's worse than ever, but I can remember for sure.
You think so? Really?
Yeah, I do. I jaded from all I can remember. Like, I know, like, almost like something went out. Like, it's again, nothing to do with the person. Put it up, whatnot, about like who's done the most for Irish bodybuilding from this year, whatnot. I haven't touched on the regional and bringing your ages hard and whatnot. I gave us, So like, I just saw people come with some mad reason in there. So I went on, hopped on, and it was crazy that his name hadn't been mentioned. But it was almost then people fucking think like, yeah, it's such a bee in a bottom. Like, it's just like, that's my opinion. I'm sticking up for somebody who's not just my coach, a very close friend of mine now. I do that for anyone.
I don't like the whole aspect of, Alan's the best coach in the country. This fella's the best thing. That's bullshit. This is it's a results game.
Yeah.
And my team gets a lot of results, and for me, there's no such thing as you're the best athlete or you're the best coach or this is the best gym,
You can ever think that you never progress there.
No, it's like, look, it's for me, I feel like because we're a small island that can get, that them terms can get thrown around. But then, as you said earlier on, then there's jealousy that comes with that, you're pissing someone else off because they want to be where you want to be.
You're getting wins. They say you're a great bodybuilder. You're winning. See, I think that's why you guys probably get it more. Like I would say, like for me, that it's a very supportive community because I suppose people don't see me as a threat, as in like I'm a great bodybuilder, and like, you know what I mean. Like there's nothing they don't have to pull me back down. They have to pull you guys back down.
I really don't understand like why anybody has to be to get pulled down. When I started,
You'll always have it.
yeah, but when I started prepping people, so I'm 35 now. I started prepping people when I was 18. I moved to the UK to do my masters. I came back. I've put like 10 years and put myself in debt for a further 10 years to educate myself. I didn't come back here with this ego as the, you know, I'm the best of this. I just want to fucking do my job and help athletes achieve their dreams. That's it. And then with that, I achieve my dreams. But you're not going to hear me say, this coach is a wanker. Am I not coach? All right, we'll go. Leave it out. This coach is this coach is a wanker. This coach is terrible, etc. I don't give a fuck. I care about who's being coached for me. What are we doing? Where are we going? What's our pathway? And that's it. And I think the more you focus on that, the better this industry will be.
Yes, I just coming back into it. I actually did think when I came back into it, did seem like it was really a come on, leaps and bounds. Like, no, someone not talking to someone because they're coached by a certain person. So that's bonkers.
People barf it's by gym lads.
But like,
It's so
it's just, you know, for me, I'm looking at
By
this
their
like,
coach.
I faced that into my mind when you said that. I'm not going to say
no,
it.
but like,
Come on, like what? Like that to me is ludicrous. You know, I'm not going to mention any names here, but barring your athletes to come to a training facility is bananas.
it just got like, it's getting very boxed off. People are boxing themselves off into groups. And that's the group.
Yeah.
As we talked about off camera, it's a fucking small island. Why is this community the way it
There's
is?
probably only like
It's a hobby.
200 of us in this community. They're like, you know, regulars in the
And Brian, how many of us out of all of us, we're on talking about the people who potentially be pros, the pros and stuff, how many people out of all the bodybuilding people actively bodybuilding are making money from bodybuilding?
Yeah.
It's a fucking hobby for most of us, you know?
Yeah, that's where it should be.
It's not, as Alan said to me before, you know, he thought I was getting a bit, putting too much pressure. Well, it's not that deep. You know, and like that's kind of like, I kind of now just keep my head down there because I'm like, I don't want to be fucking.
But you know,
Put
for
up
some
the
people,
nonsense.
it is completely their identity, right?
Yeah.
So
But it used to be mine. And I look back.
if they see like an Alan, their coach, they see Alan getting higher and higher and higher, and they're staying here.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? But only go down.
I know, and it's
They're going to bar their athletes from training in your gym.
Yeah. Take away your gym revenue.
Well,
yeah, choke them down. You know?
So instead of giving Ellen a call and being like, hey, listen, I need to grow my business,
No
you know,
issues, yeah.
any advice or whatever they get in.
Never, ever. Like for me, I've spent fortune on having mentors. I was mentored by John Meadows. I was mentored by Scott Stevenson.
John Meadows, really? Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
I was
That'd be a
mentored by
Ulmer Crane.
Scott Stevenson. I was mentored by Laurent Bonnac. I spent a lot of money outside of formal academia learning from better minds.
about doing right, you know?
Yeah. So for certain individuals to dislike me because and they don't know me because of the success of the theme, it's, come on, man, just do better. You know, focus on coaching.
Okay, last few rapid fire questions.
Okay, go.
Rapid fire. Favorite flavor of Monster or color? Whichever you
It's not done.
No,
No, slammed up.
I don't discriminate.
You don't discriminate.
They're all pretty good.
I like them
I
all.
go now.
Alright.
Hand up. Then it was with them.
Okay. Ice cream or cookies?
Cookies.
That's a tough one.
Nut job.
Ice cream, yeah, ice cream.
I think
Gino's
Cookies. Cookies.
Ice cream.
Okay.
Ice cream.
Both.
Beef or chicken?
Chicken.
Beef.
Chicken. Ah, lads.
Chicken doesn't have a
Beef.
beef.
Oh, they're on podcast here.
Yeah,
It's gotta be beef. Beef.
Yeah.
all day.
All right. Squats
Burgers.
or
For
leg
God's
press?
sake, burgers, lad. Come on.
You have to, for you coming in
Sorry,
for
what
leg
was
day, only one.
Are we talking about for ourselves?
Yes.
What was
Okay,
it?
so outside of me programming,
No, that's not a problem. You
For
come
me,
into the gym and you
Just for you.
the gym is
leg
fuck
press.
busy. Only two of these equipments.
leg press.
Leg press.
Yeah.
What was the
Yeah.
question?
Squat or leg press in a busy gym.
Oh, leg press all day. I'm on
Yeah,
squat.
that, Chris.
Squat.
Squat.
Bell squat. I love it.
All right. All right. Is that it? That seems to be. All right. That's it. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Alan, thank you for joining us.
Thank
We
you very
appreciate
much.
it.
So
Appreciate that.
So
hot.
God, boy, my head is shining so
Yeah,
much.
we're all shining. It's fucking soaked right through.
Yeah.
Thanks a million for coming.
My pleasure.
Great to have you.
Yeah.
And hopefully this is the first of many. And we'll get better at it. We'll get more fluid at it. And we'll,
It'll just take a minute.
in time, yeah. We're working on it. But please bear with us and keep on tuning in.